Welcome back, everybody. My good friend Bob Beckel right over here has been giving me a hard time about food stamps, saying there's not really much fraud. Well, get this, Big Bob. Food stamp recipients are ripping off taxpayers to the tune of millions of dollars, illegally selling their benefit cards for cash on eBay or Craigslist and asking for more cards. It costs us about $750 million a year, and that ain't chump change, Mr. B.
What costs us $750 million?
$750 million worth of estimated fraud in food stamps.
Fraud. And how much is the food stamp budget?
$75 billion.
$75 billion. So that's. I've been trying to ask upstairs to give me the answer.
Well, I'll give you the number. It's 1/10 of 1%.
Well, it's 1% of the $75 billion program.
1%. Big deal.
Big deal. $750 million is
that's
big
the, That's
deal.
the beauty, though, Eric. That's the beauty. You can say big deal because it's not your money. It's easier to trash a public bathroom than it is to trash a private bathroom. Fraud is less a priority when it's not your money.
You're trashing 99% of the people for the 1% of the people who do fraud.
Go after
I
that
admit
1%.
that there's fraud.
You said it was
there's
no
fraud
big deal.
in the military. There's fraud in the police department.
What about the healthcare system? You're always talking about
There's
fraud in the healthcare
there's fraud
system.
there. But
Was there fraud in
taking
Solyndra?
1% of the people and you're painting them with a brush of fraud, which is just outrageous.
No, I'm responding to you saying it's no big deal.
Can we point something else out too, Bob?
Yeah.
This is one program that they found $750 million in. Ange, I'm guessing there's a lot more fraud than this if they really kind of dig deep and
how much fraud
go after some of this.
Right, the same people that
have you ever seen it?
I told you during the commercial break, I just saw it. I was at the supermarket, and I saw a woman, and she had an EBT card, and I just happened to look over, and she showed it to the woman. It was a picture of a man with a mustache. Now, could have been her boyfriend, Bob. I'm sure it was all legit.
Or before she went to the spa.
There's a huge
I'm sure all those purchase orders for Iraq were fraudulent, were somebody's girlfriend,
Why
too.
can't we ever stay on the topic? Why do you always have to bring up something else?
Because you're talking about programs.
There's a huge also drug and sex exchange for food stamps. It's the downside to these programs too. And the same people that have been asleep at the switch letting the fraud happen, they're going to be the ones policing it?
Wait. This is very important because this $750 million in fraud that they found was only for people claiming to have lost cards and wanting replacement cards, not for using it for lobster or sex.
What are you talking? What is the sex say? I think I'm missing that.
There's a drug and sex exchange for food stamps for these EBT cards. And your point about the card, you don't need an ID to use the card. You can use anybody's card. And if you lose your card, government has to give you a new card. It's not like a driver's license where they say, 2 of 2, or you can see that there's other ones out there. You go back in, they have to give you a new card.
For you, 99,
it's unbelievably unregulated.
99% of the people out there that may be on food stamps and feed your children with them because you have to, don't get yourself caught up in this
If they had
New York
jobs,
City paid job, this con job.
If they had jobs, they wouldn't need food stamps.
It is pretty ingenious, though, to think of like how to and really kind of gutsy to go on Craigslist and use your EBT card. That seems sort of
brazen.
Smart. Yeah, it's kind of smart. Like, what if you put that ingenuity towards something else? $750 million. Do you realize how many solar panels I could buy? I mean, honestly.
You just changed the subject again, so you accused me of changing the subject.
Can I ask Greg?
I wonder how many of those lousy airplanes that they built for the military that cost $1 billion.
Well, I agree with you. There is a lot of overspending in government.
A lot more.
A lot. No, I will say I will say entitlements are probably worse.
Well, let me ask you this, Greg. When President Obama took over the last year prior, we spent $42 billion on food stamps. Now we're spending this next year is going to be $82 billion. Almost doubling the program in 4 years.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean,
the amount of people.
A lot of people out of work.
Well, he just gave me the answers. There's a lot of people out of work. So whose fault is that?
I love when Bob comes full circle back to my point.
By the way, he's facing re-election, so you got to keep giving the stuff out.
Yeah, giving the stuff out is food stamps. Food stamps have been around a long time. Food stamps were introduced by a Republican president, I might add, Richard Nixon, and they are a good thing.
You should thank him.
And they save people who are hungry. And they don't go out and buy sex.
I'm trying to starve people to death, Bob. That's why I'm here.
Then if we would be honest about this, we would not try to paint everybody.
We're not. We're just talking about $750 million.
Tiny percentage of people.
I know, but $750 million could that is money that should not be wasted. I thought Mitch Daniels, when I had that one more thing the other day, where he said, I do not think it's right to take a hard-earned dollar from any citizen to spend it on something that is not for a specific purpose or that will go to a fraudulent enterprise.
Okay,
so USDA maybe has a responsibility here
they
to
do
figure
have
it
a
out.
responsibility there, just like the Defense Department does for all the fraud that they have.
It was supposed to be a safety net, not a lifestyle choice.
There you go. Good way to end that segment,
Yeah.
Ange. All right, coming up, pressure is mounting on the Pakistani government after some officials say jailing the Pakistani doctor was payback for us killing bin Laden. Be right back.